Well, Linda, here we are, Facebook Friday yet again.
It's Facebook Friday.
That's your theme song. Excellent job, right? And I don't know, I feel like it's not dignified for me to sing the theme song. Of course, I'm standing here with this wonderful T-shirt on. You love that? I mean, yours looks, I mean, you look like just $1 million on that shirt.
I do. I'm on the cartoon on all my pictures
right?
now.
I heard we're not allowed to, we can't dry them. We can wash them, but you can't dry them.
Right. You just hang them up
good.
and let them air dry.
You don't want these shirts to get a little ripe, you know. It's like,
yeah, we can wash them.
Yeah. I mean, like when I was in Boy Scouts and go with the kids to summer camp, and the kid would wear the same shirt every day. And I'd be like, hey, Bobby, you're like, don't you have more shirts? Oh, yeah. Like, and then he'd come home at the end of the week, and the mother would be like, well, there's 7 clean shirts in there, and he looks like Pigpen from Charlie Brown. I'm like, I kept asking him, and he's like, well, you kept asking. I didn't know you wanted me to put one on. I was like, well, what can I say?
And what does he do now for a living?
Probably lawyer. Governor of the state of Illinois.
J.B. Pritzker.
J.B. Pritzker, right.
Potential future president.
Right. Year behind me in high school.
Great guy.
Yeah.
You ever know him?
Yeah. All right. So moving right along, and we're all right. That's all right. Okay. So wonderful shirts. Thank you, so Brittany. Really, just awesome. I mean, what can you say? I mean, I'm thinking I should just really humiliate my children by wearing this out in public.
I think you should wear it all the way on your trip down to Georgia today.
That'd be awesome, right?
And to the game.
I wear it to the game, right?
Yep.
I mean, probably be zoomed in on. So yeah, I mean, going there to Bobby Dodd Stadium, right? Is it Bobby Dodd? Right?
Is that what Georgia? Is it Georgia Tech?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
We're just parents. We just show up. So anyway, we're going in, and the dogs are going too. Taking the dogs, right?
Dogs will enjoy it.
That's right. So,
so Lucky's de-skunkified.
Lucky's de-skunkified, but Allison said this morning she was there doing her Bible reading, and she was hearing this weird noise, and she couldn't figure out what it was, and she started looking around.
Did she get a visit?
And then she had another weird noise, and she looked and saw Lucky just eat the rest of the chicken wing that he had stolen out of the trash. So I'm just hoping that
you don't get a chicken bone stuck halfway.
I'm hoping there's nothing stuck anywhere in Lucky's digestive tract.
We are getting comments, by the way. Brittany says you all look so cute. Tracy says the T-shirts are awesome. Good look for Facebook Fridays. LOL.
That's right. All right. Maybe I have to do it every week. I guess so. Now I have to
That-
think about what I'm wearing. So, yep. So we are doing that. And so, I mean, why does my dog not learn? Right? Why?
That's what I always said
What
about
is
my
wrong?
kids when they were in high
Exactly,
school.
right? How do you not learn? And you learn through repetition, right?
Yes.
And so, like, now I'm going, Dr. Keenan and I both teach the residents and medical students at UT.
Yes.
And so I've got a resident lecture today.
Okay.
Going over there for that. And I'm giving 9 hours of lecture on Sunday at a review course that I do.
Okay.
9 straight hours. I mean, let me tell you, at the end, I'm like broken. I'm like, I can't even talk at the end.
No, I'm just kidding. Is it 9 hours for the same group?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's like 100.
I hope you got
It's like 100.
plenty of
These are
breaks.
doctors who are getting ready to take their their OBGYN boards.
Okay.
So they're and they'll say, I mean, the comments will be like, well, they used to be good. I don't know what they're gonna be this time, but they were like the Jerry Seinfeld of infertility.
Oh, that's a good. Yeah, that's positive.
I mean, and I'm always the last day. They've been there for 5 days. Okay, they've been taking this course for 5 days, and then they get 9 hours of reproductive endocrinology lectures.
You keep them entertained.
Well, that's my feeling. It's like at least if they're awake, they might have a chance at learning.
Yeah.
If you're asleep, you're gonna learn nothing.
Right.
So we scatter some amusing anecdotes in there and things like that. So anyway, so education is important, right?
Yes.
And I did Jeopardy with the residents yesterday morning for the teaching conference. It's interesting, like they just I don't know. We used to play like all that Trivial Pursuit, and it just I just feel like they don't have that.
It's not
that
the
they don't have
generation
that. They don't have that killer instinct, of like buzz in. I mean, I spent $300 on a new buzzer system, so when you push the thing, you actually get locked out.
Is this for your home?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
For your home day?
That's right. Kids, you want to have dinner? You gotta beat dad. You gotta beat dad at Jeopardy. So, I mean, but it has a lockout so that if you buzz in before the end of the question, it locks you out briefly, and then other people could buzz in ahead of you. And I thought, oh, it's so cool, it's gonna be great. And like nobody's buzzing in very quickly at all. They don't have that kill. They don't go for that. I don't know. It's just energy. So it's just energy generation. But so we'll play some more Jeopardy games with them too. But you know, teaching is important, right? It's important to educate the next generation, right? I mean, that is important, right? And sometimes it's important to gently educate, right? Gently educate. Gently educate. We try to gently educate our patients.
You know, every time I hear that word, it reminds me of my son coming home in 5th grade. He'd gotten in trouble when they were playing kickball, and he had gently thrown the kid over his shoulder. And I said, Tommy, how do you gently throw a kid over your shoulder? And he says, I held on to him until he landed.
Nice.
So every time I hear the word gently, I remember that. I got a lot of calls from Cranford.
Monomoy Day Camp. Okay, I'm 12 years old. There's a really cute girl that I was thinking, oh, she's pretty cute, okay? And we were playing kickball, those red playground balls, okay? And so I'm like, well, I'm gonna show her how good I am at kickball, okay? So they're lined up, right? She's on my team, okay? And they're lined up, ready to kick. I said, okay, I'm gonna show her how good I am at kicking, right? And so I get up there and I just drill it, okay? But she was not paying attention, and I watch as the ball curves towards the third base side, and of course, bam, just takes her out, and she drops like a sack of potatoes, okay?
Well, you made an impression.
And that was it. I mean, she never talked to me the rest of the summer. I was like, you know, like I had on purpose pegged her with a stupid playground ball, but I just watched in horror as the thing just, and it was just like God had that ball and was just driving it right to her head. And I mean, what are the odds? I mean, you could do that kick 100 times, you'd never come close to hitting her, okay? And she could just turn to talk to her friend and then took her right out of play, right in the back of the head. Right in the back of the head.
I got the forehead,
yeah,
a soccer ball.
Yeah, that's right. So
it dropped me just.
All right, exactly.
Yeah. Not a fun thing.
I know, it's not a fun thing. It's not. So, yeah. But you learn, right?
You do learn.
You learn from that. You learn from the mistakes. Yes. And so there is actually some point here to do with infertility. All right, wait for it. I'm not sure what it is yet, but I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it. It's just coming to me slowly.
They're seeing the light at the end of the
That's
tunnel.
right. Light So sometimes things don't work out. And the patient said, why do you think it didn't work out? And I said, well, the one thing about IVF is that we learn something. You know, as opposed to other fertility treatments, we don't learn much. We have a lot of information that we get with IVF. So we sit down with our patients, even if things don't work out, and sit there and say, why didn't it work? You know, and I always say, listen, if it doesn't work, especially on a frozen cycle, it's the transfer, it's the lining, it's the embryo. I mean, those are really the three possibilities. So let's talk about those possibilities. You know, was the transfer very difficult? What can we do to make it less difficult? How did the lining look? Are we concerned about the thickness of the lining, the appearance? Is there some reason to think there's inflammation there? How did the embryos look? You know, is there something we've learned about how you respond to the medications and stimulation? For a fresh cycle, it's sort of similar. You know, how did the stimulation go? How did the eggs look? Did we get as many eggs as we thought or not as many? How did they appear when we got them out? How was fertilization? How was embryo development? And then again, how was the transfer? So we do learn. And so that's the thing, is it's hard because, especially if you just do something once, the patient oftentimes just says, well, I'm just done. And that's okay. It's okay to say, our plan was to try it once and then move on. No problem. But when you look at statistics, in general, your batting average doesn't drop until you bend the plate 3 times. So 3 cycles, and then there is a step down, and for 3 more cycles, and then if you're 0 for 6, then the odds really are not playing in your favor very much. Right. So you're really in that same batting average, so it's hard to believe because, of course, you want it to work the first time. But there is something to that, and I think that's important for a patient to understand. And I encourage patients, even if they think in their heart they're done, my job is not to chase after them and say, please, let's do more IVF, but to say, let's just talk about how it went. And if you're satisfied that was your attempt and you're ready to move on, and you want to pursue adoption or embryo adoption or quit or get a dog that hopefully won't eat chicken bones when you're not looking, or another dog, it's skunk. It's not really a good advertisement for dogs, is it? No. Cats. It was actually good. documentary on cats that we were watching on Netflix. Inside the Mind of a Cat.
Back to the light.
All right, back to the light. So you do learn that, and that's okay. And it's okay to come in and patients are like, well, I don't want. I'm not disappointed. I mean, if they say, we're just done, Dr. Gordon, I say, well, whatever it is for you. If that's
your goal, and you're comfortable with that.
I mean, I certainly have never looked upon it that I'm a salesman. I'm trying to convince them to do something they don't want to do. I say, look, here are the odds, and if they make sense to you, that's fine. Now, I have had patients where I've said, I think this doesn't make sense anymore. You have done X number of cycles. And I have patients who've done like a lot more cycles than I thought made sense. And I said, finally, I said, listen, this is just not a good idea anymore. It's really just, I think this is just a waste of your money. It doesn't make sense. I'm sorry that it hasn't worked, but I think it just doesn't make sense to keep going. And I said, do you really think that? I said, yes. I said, I think you are more likely to be struck by a meteorite walking out of the office than you are to get pregnant. And the patient said, so I feel like you're thinking it's not going to work. I go, yes, that is what I'm trying to say. And I said, oh, okay. And then that patient actually did go to New York and did 18 more cycles of IVF.
Did she get pregnant?
No.
Oh.
But I tried to save her the money. I mean, that's a lot of money.
That is.
That's a lot of money. So, I mean, I would certainly think that your job as a physician is to educate, right? That's why we're teaching, right? It is to basically give comfort and support to patients in the process, right? It is to do your absolute best to give them success. But it's also to say, maybe it's time to think about that we're done. Maybe that's okay. And again, my feeling of being done sometimes is not their feeling of being done. And I think it's a question as to when is a job of physician to say, I'm literally cutting you off. Of course, when they see me standing here in a shirt like this, they probably say, well, we're not giving you the first shot anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But, so you get for being the Jerry Feinfeld or Free Pro End. Well, it's a lovely shirt. It's a lovely shirt. And how could you not just want to come and be a patient so you could be Linda's patient? I mean, who wouldn't want, even if you had no interest to even have a child, you should probably just come in so you could be a patient of Linda's. I mean, why not? I mean, So anyway, so that's what we've covered. We've covered dog bones, or chicken bones and dogs.
Education.
We've covered education. We've covered T-shirt design.
Yes.
We've covered Dr. Gordon's traumatic dating history when he was 12 years old. I mean, how much more could you possibly cover in 11 minutes?
That was very informative.
I think that's enough. Yes. Right, that's enough. Anyway, well, so it's time to say goodbye. You wasted another 12 minutes with Dr. Gordon and Linda, but hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. It's
Happy
a great
Friday.
Football weekend. Have fun. Go Vols. Who's your team playing? Are they off? You don't know?
They're playing the Akron Zips from Akron, Ohio.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent.
Florida's next week. That's the big one.
The Zips. Isn't that George Zip from the movie Airplane?
Win one for the zipper.
Win one for the zipper. All right. See y'all next week.
Bye.